This is Pastor Reed coming to you from First Baptist Church of Olathe. I'm so glad you're taking the time and the opportunity to listen, to watch this midweek message. I hope that that you're blessed today, and So on Sunday we talked about Paul's desire that the Church of Colossae would develop and live into the mind of Christ. And part of the way that he helped us to understand this was he brought a hymn that the early church had begun singing together to share. And what that hymn says is that Jesus, though he was God, he decided to come to earth. He humbled himself to come and to walk amongst us. And not only did he humble himself to come and walk amongst us, but he humbled himself to the point of death on the cross. Paul desires that we would take upon ourselves this mind of humility, that we would recognize the value and worth in each other. It's cool to think about Jesus, who was active in creation, leaving heaven to walk amongst us. And he doesn't just come and walk amongst us and become king and lord it over us. No, that's not Jesus' way. He comes as the child of an unwed teen mother. His family has to flee from Herod and into Egypt. He's a political refugee. He comes back, and his dad growing up is a carpenter. And we oftentimes think of carpenters as skilled laborers, but carpenters oftentimes back in the day were more akin to what we think of as day laborers. They were just looking for work. Anything that they could find, they would do. He ended up being basically a homeless vagabond as he called people to follow after him. He lived a life that was from this place to the next, all in service of calling together the leftovers in society to be the kingdom of God. He was tempted. He was abused. He faced persecution. He was people who were close to him did bad things to him. This Jesus, as he humbles himself to walk amongst us and suffer like us, he does so out of compassion for you and for me, because he loves us, he values us. And part of what I want us to do today is I just want us to think about how can we, in one really small way, how can we show each other that we value one another? And one of the most powerful things that we'll do in life is we'll connect over a conversation. But oftentimes in our conversations, we don't actually hear each other, especially when our opinions begin to diverge. We oftentimes enter into conversations where when I'm speaking, you're not really listening. You're thinking about how you're going to respond to me. And when you're speaking, I'm not really listening. I'm more thinking about how I'm going to respond to you. And so oftentimes we miss one another. Humility says, lay down your thoughts for a second and listen. And so I would encourage us to be humble in communication, that as we seek to hear each other, learn from each other, understand one another, that we would quiet our minds and our hearts and truly listen to the other person's words. That as we listen to each other's words, that we'd come to know each other better, that we'd become more connected, more deeply connected. Give it a go. I'm going to give it a go as well. It doesn't come naturally to us, but humility in relationship, humility in conversation, seeking to hear before we speak, seeking to understand before we judge. Be blessed. Be a blessing. Pastor Reed out.